Okay, do you want to stay in here for it? I can go watch it on the monitor if you do.
It's up to you. Would you rather be in here?
Oh. Why don't you do that and then I can stay in. That's cool.
Not really that.
Huh? Oh, okay.
I just grabbed mic number 2 there.
No worries. Whatever. It's your world.
Okay, cool. Should I wear 2 mics?
No. I'll worry
Okay. Okay, cool.
Just call them and have them set you up.
Alrighty.
If you want to, I don't mind though. I don't mind watching in there. Yeah, it's a little feed. Alright. Gary, does it show up in there or you have to turn it on?
I'll figure out what channel it is and then I'll come in there and turn it on.
Okay, cool.
Hey, this is Gary. We have our guest in the studio. I'm good. How are you?
Oh my god.
Can you just look at me while
Oh,
you frame?
sure. Oh, it's robots.
I can't actually see him. This monitor is busted, so you frame him up like we usually do, and that should be fine. And the way that I'm framed up is fine. Looks like it hasn't been moved, so you don't have to touch the one that I'm on. Can you just give me a mic check? Just
Sure.
give me a mic check.
Microphone check. 1 2 1 2. Talking from my face. Hello.
And then lastly, can I just get you to, we have some guests in the green room, can I just get you to route his camera to a channel so they can watch? And you just let me know what channel. .105. Okay, that sounds good. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Okay, bye. I'm just going to tell them the channel
Sure.
and we'll get started.
That's pretty cool. High tech. It is. Robotic camera operators. Or remote, I should say remote.
Saw this for the first. It's a
And then they're routing that camera onto a channel that she can tune into. It's pretty cool. I wonder what happened to that gal that worked for the show.
She went to jail for a while.
I know.
Got out, I think.
Yeah?
Got out. I think she did like 6 months.
No way.
She was in jail for 6 months.
Oof.
Because they told her because what it was. Meaning that she didn't. Of course, because she called me and I talked to her.
From jail?
Yeah.
Wow.
She would text me from jail.
Wow.
Like every once a month, I get a text from her like, "Hey, look,
Wow.
see what you guys up to?"
What was her name? Tavi?
T.
T?
We
T.
called her T was Tavi Tiana.
Yeah, T.
Something like that.
Hmm. Tatiana,
Tatiana.
maybe?
Was it Tatiana? It was definitely
Or
T.
Tiana, or something, yeah,
And
unique.
she asked me to go with her. She was like, "Why don't you come to one of these protests? We drive through. We don't." And that's exactly what got her in trouble.
Oh.
Somebody from the other side came up and they started shaking her car.
Uh-huh.
So she sped up to get away.
Oh, no.
She hit somebody.
Oh,
But she
God.
didn't hurt somebody, but just because of that nature.
Yeah. Yeah, that's tough. Oh, my goodness.
Can I fix your mic?
Oh, sure.
If you don't mind. Are you based? You're not based here, right?
No, San Diego.
Oh wow. Okay. I went whale watching there.
Oh, you did?
Maybe like a couple of, I think last year.
Mhm.
It was awesome.
Cool.
I've never really gotten a chance to actually see San Diego, so that's
Mm.
my next stop.
Oh, okay.
I know it's beautiful there.
It is.
What port did you go out of?
Man, that's a good question. I really don't know. I just used the GPS, and that's where it took me.
Cool.
But yeah, I'm not exactly sure.
So it was a little boat ride that got you close to some whale
it was
activity?
Like I follow all these like whale watching Instagram
Yeah.
things, and
Wow.
I guess there's a really popular one
Huh.
from San Diego. So
I just saw one recently where the whale tail just stood up. Have you seen this one?
no, I haven't seen that.
It's whale tail versus glass kayak or clear kayak. If you type in those things, the guy's in a clear kayak.
Yeah.
There's also a drone following him around. And all of a sudden this whale is, I forget what it's called when the tail comes up,
Yeah.
it just stops. And the whale just sits there doing like a headstand with his tail out. And then the baby is doing laps around the whale. It's beautiful. And the guy's freaking out. He's like, I better back up. I don't know what I'm seeing. It's incredible. I've never seen that before.
I'm gonna find it as soon as this interview is over.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, for all I know, it's 5 years old.
Right.
But I just saw it the other day. I saw some orcas on a Antarctic trip, which was quite cool.
Because they're doing really interesting things around the world right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So wild.
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
Is my coffee okay right there?
Yeah.
You're okay? Okay.
All right. So I guess first off, new album. I know it came out in June, but what's the reception been like from all your fans so far?
The reception's been amazing. I mean, because sometimes you put an album out and you find out later that people still haven't heard it. They didn't even know you put an album out. But this time around, I feel a little different. I'm getting texts, I'm seeing a lot of comments online. I just hear that people are sharing the song. We're seeing a lot of people come to the tour dates, to the concerts. So that shows me that the album's been well received.
And of course, I always mess up the title, but because that's
Yeah.
a lot of alliteration.
Yeah.
But Mystical, Magical, Rhythmical,
Radical Ride, yeah.
How did you come up with the title?
Well, it comes from a lyric inside the album, and to me that summed up the album because we're all on this ride through life. Life is basically just time traveling, and music is a great way to travel through time. And as I'm looking back in my mid-40s at 20 years in music, where I've been, what I've learned, how I can forgive myself for some of the things I've done, and then how I can be optimistic and purposeful and meaningful for the future. So I'm kind of like, I feel like I'm right in the middle of my journey, hopefully, that's no guarantee. So I remain mystified. I want life to be, more than just life, one syllable. I want it to be multisyllabic. I want it to be, poetic and a dance, and I want it to be graceful, for even through all my mistakes that I may still make. And I wrote that line, it wasn't even like a premeditated thing, like I was trying to achieve this, but when you're writing song lyrics, sometimes you don't write the line you need until you need it, and like I write somewhat chronologically, so as I'm writing a verse, and the next line comes out, and the next line comes out, almost in a freestyle way, out comes this lyric, and I wasn't lit up by the lyric at first. In fact, I thought, okay, it's fun, it's alliteration, it's kind of using up this space in the verse, but I was never, it wasn't a standout for me until the album was finished, and I looked back at all the lyrics, and I said, wow, that line actually kind of sums up what this whole record and potentially life is about.
Now, you mentioned, forgiving yourself for, mistakes that you may have made or things that you may have failed at. Like, what kind of mistakes are you talking about?
Breaking hearts, when you're young, you have relationships that are filled with so much promise, and then if they don't work out, you're left with this feeling of failure or shame. which is not always easy to recover from. It can take years to heal from a breakup. I look back at, some songs that I maybe rushed through, either for a deadline or just my idea wasn't fully realized, but then I still wrote the song. And so some songs get a little expired, but you still have to live with them. They still live on albums and whatnot. So that's one thing we constantly have to do in life is like forgive others and forgive ourselves of our shortcomings.
I love that. So this is, mainly a dance record, but I will say, for me, I'm not going to lie, Pancakes and Butter, that's probably my favorite song.
That's so great.
And I love Little Time as well.
Thanks.
But, I'm wondering, since it is a dance album, why a dance album, number one? And is it a response to the pandemic, or was this kind of already planned? And by pandemic, obviously, I mean,
sure.
We were all
isolation. Yeah. It was definitely a pandemic project. It was something I started during the pandemic with my band members. We would get together when safe and meet in a circle, and after COVID testing, of course, and emote and play our songs and long for connection. But one thing I had noticed was, and I'd been noticing this for years, on the set list, we were missing the songs that kept the audience on their feet. They would get up at times and party with us, but then I'd go back into a ballad or another folk song, and the audience would sit back down. And I realized that's something I longed for, was more experiences of that, where I could keep an audience elevated. And it was a challenge for me because as much as I love dance music, whether it be electronic or disco, I love roller skating and everything I hear that comes out of roller rinks, from hip hop to disco. It was something I didn't have enough experience making myself. And so over the pandemic, my friends and I would just jam, or I would lock myself into my computer and just kind of practice playing to different grooves and try to understand how those parts all work together to make something super funky, So yeah, it was a little bit the audience asking for it more than anything. Yeah.
And I read that your mom may have, played a little part in influencing this album too. And if so, how? Yeah.
Well, my mom heard some early demos that I was working on early in the process, and she thought, these are great, they're cute, they sound like you, but I've heard that before. Like, she goes, you need to make a pop album. And it was a little odd coming from my mom, because she usually doesn't chime in that much on what I should or shouldn't do. But she said, you should make a pop album before it's too late. And I was like, well, it's too late. And I have to assume she's speaking from experience, anyone who's older can give you a little bit of insight on what you can expect in life, and maybe mobility, maybe your audience is going to change, maybe you won't have the energy to go for a big pop and dance effort. So I took that to heart and said, you're right, it's something I've been wanting to do. This extra encouragement was great. And then unfortunately, my mom was diagnosed with cancer during our album making process. And so we would use our sort of musical inspiration would really be what would cheer up my mom, what could cheer her on in life, and what will she be excited to hear from us. And luckily she's doing great right now. So thanks, music.
I'm glad to hear that. That's most important.
Yeah, thanks.
When I was listening to the album, I don't know, I get a sense of optimism. And what is the theme of the album, or what themes does the album contain?
Well, I'll always be optimistic, because I want to wake up tomorrow. And so right there, I want to be hopeful that there is a future that I get to play in. I write the kind of songs that cheer me on, because it's so easy to be overwhelmed by anything in the world. There's so many things going on out there that it's so easy just to feel defeated, and that you can't contribute, or you can't make change, meaningful change. So when I turn to music and I feel like I can make meaningful change, I can turn silence into sound. I can take nothing and make it into something. And so that little bit of alchemy gives me hope, gives me the optimism that I need to then suit up and go out in the world and try to then pass this optimism on to others to cheer them on their journeys so that they can live the life that they imagined and hopefully make change in the world.
Do you have a favorite song on the album or a song that kind of encompasses the entire work?
I think Feel Good 2 is an interesting song on the record. You Might Like It is another one. You Might Like It, especially sonically, it really showcases who the band is. And I wrote this album in tandem with 4 other artists. They go by Raining Jane, incredible musicians, multi-instrumentalists that include sitar and cello and percussion and drums and whatnot. And so you hear those elements in these songs, especially You Might Like It. And then also thematically, we're singing about, cheering ourselves on, cheering others on to go live your dream, because that's what we're getting to do through this musical process. And our hope for everyone is that every day they wake up and get to do the tasks they love to do the crafts they love, be with those they love, feel loved, all the things that might define what living the dream is all about. And You Might Like It is that message, and I think that's also what the whole album is as well.
When I was looking at different reviews of the album, I know that some writers were calling this a comeback album. I didn't really look at it like that, but I'm wondering what's your take on that. Do you consider it that, or is it...
Well, in some ways, I personally kind of resigned. Maybe go back to 2018. I was finishing up my major label contract with Atlantic Records. I turned in my last album, which took me years and years to make, just because I wasn't getting much traction through the A&R department. I wasn't getting much visibility. Or maybe my songs just weren't that great, so they weren't moving my project out. So it took me many years to make that album. And when I finally got it out, I was kind of done. I was like, I don't want to be in competitive music. I want to be in fun, joyful music. And so I made a reggae album after that out of just pure love. I didn't have a record label. My friends and I, we love reggae. Let's just make a reggae record. And in a way, that was just a personal project. So I could see why people say he's not really participating anymore. He's not doing the promo circuit. He's not competing for radio charts and whatnot. And then along comes this album, again, done independently. There's no record company telling me what I can and can't do. But we made it with the kind of joy that that we still wanted to include everyone in on it, and so maybe the comeback feeling is like, hey, he's back from his spiritual reggae journey, and now he wants us to have this dance party together. Even though the reggae journey was where I learned a lot about rhythm, because in that entire album, what I discovered is everybody plays percussion. Keys, guitar, everyone's just playing a version of percussion. And that type of machine created, every song was a dance track. And so I wanted to take that knowledge and then apply it to this new thing and go for more of like roller skate disco type of jams. So I don't know, critics may say I went somewhere, it's a comeback, but I never went anywhere. I'm looking for new experiences this late in my career. Or this early in my career. I don't know how long I'm going to live. But maybe I just made something that is accessible to the masses, so they call it a comeback. But I don't know.
Okay. All right, man, just a couple more questions. I'm loving
Cool.
this conversation.
Cool.
So I was reading, as I was researching I was reading your article or your interview with The Advocate.
Yeah.
And one of the quotes, and I wanted to ask you, because I'm not sure if it's a quote or a writer that's making their own sense of the interview,
Okay.
but they were saying that, like, at this point, you were embracing your queerness.
Yeah.
And so, is that accurate? And if it is,
Yeah.
then, how, in your own words, what does that mean?
just accepting myself and allowing myself to even be vocal about it rather than be a little closeted about it or shameful about it. Having grown up on, looking back, I call it a conservative street because some of my friends from high school came out early, like it's early college years, and I just thought that was like the bravest thing to do because of where we grew up, you know, hearing slurs and even, you know, the way older people in the community would talk poorly about those in the queer community. It made me want to leave my town and go be a part of something else entirely. But even though I went and did my own thing, something about my youth stayed in me that just kept me a little reserved and fearful. And my experiences were limited, so I didn't know really what I should and shouldn't be saying. I didn't know how to identify. But as I've gone through life and I've been through a lot of different relationships and had a lot of experiences, I realize I'm not final. And the more we grow and spread our wings, I think the more queer all of us may become. Because when we don't limit ourselves to some construct of who we're supposed to be in love with based on a society's laws about it or a society's story about it, if we don't limit ourselves, we could find ourselves falling in love or becoming attracted to all walks of human life, you know? And that's what I found was happening to me through my journey in music and as a world traveler. I was starting to fall in love and have relationships with all walks. And it's beautiful and so fun. And I realized the importance of like accepting that, owning it, and then how sharing it might help other people who are like me, who've been sort of, you know, a little nervous about love, you know, a little nervous about expressing who they have an interest in loving, you know. And it's very personal. I mean, anyone's love life deserves to be private if you want it to be private. But there's also something quite beautiful and liberating when you can also be proud of your capacity to love.
And I know you first mentioned it, at least as far as we know, in 2018. Like, do you feel any different within the past 5 years about your journey, about, you know, as far as what you share publicly?
Yeah, a little bit, because, you know, when I first started coming out, it was just baby steps into that world, you know, because I still don't know who I'm gonna be. I know who I am today, but I don't know what my future holds and what future relationships I'm gonna have, right? I'm really excited to learn. But I'd say since 2018 to now, 5-6 years almost, I've had more fun. I've had more friendships emerge, new, like, dare I even say, content. Like I love doing stand-up with some friends of mine, and I find myself talking about my dating experiences, you know, in the queer community, of what that's like, and, you know, just the ability, the freedom to have that type of healthy banter with peers is a big step versus who I was in 2018, when it was just like a few secret peeps, you know, that I would share with.
Most importantly, are you happy?
Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I'm still not happy that I've broken so many hearts along this journey, but I feel, you know, that I've done a lot of work in healing those relationships, and I'm so happy to be where I'm at today.
Well, lastly, and if this is an ignorant question, please feel free to say so, but in terms of making music, are you approaching the way you make music or write music differently now that you're on this journey, or is it the same?
It is different. I find even with my old songs, when I perform them live, some I've either just retired, or I find new ways where I can make them gender neutral. You know, I grew up hearing songs that had, you know, girl in the title, you know, and I don't fully connect with that or even want to limit my audience to just, you know, girl. So I find that's been the biggest change in my music.
Gotcha. That's it. Last question, but I got to ask you about the deluxe album of We Sing, We Dance, We Steal. When is that coming out, and why re-release it, make it a deluxe?
I have a theory. It comes out September 22nd. I'm thrilled that it's being celebrated. It's like a box set. We get to re-release all the content from that album, plus some lyrics, some first draft demos, some unreleased tracks that we found from the master tapes. So it's really cool. Honored that, you know, I basically have 2 albums out at the same time, but my theory is that my new album is doing so well that my old record company was like, hey, let's get on board and re-release your old record at the same time now that you've made your comeback.
Got it.
Yeah.
Are you in agreement? I guess.
I'm in agreement. Yeah, I think it's very cool, and we work together to create new packaging, and yeah, I still have a lot of friends over there, and I'm thrilled that they've wanted to get behind this project.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about a lot, man. I've
Yeah.
enjoyed it. Is there anything
Thanks.
that you want to add? Anything that I didn't cover? The floor is yours.
Oh my gosh, Billy, you know anything that's going on that I need to share? Because it's just going to go in the bank, right? It's going to go in the AP bank. I have an exciting fall that I'm excited to do, new experiences, although I can't say what that project is yet because they don't announce it until like 2 more weeks.
Pop show?
And then, well, yeah, performing with the New York Pops this Thursday, which is very exciting. Our touring band plus 60 incredible symphonic musicians. And hopefully that becomes a thing that we do next year where we can actually partner up with a lot of orchestras around the country and do pop shows with symphony. That's kind of a next level dream. And beyond my fall project, I do a local project in San Diego with my foundation where we partner up with 8 different nonprofits, and we pool them all together, and we kind of learn from each other, songs and dances, and put on a big talent show in February. So that's what I'll be doing in the fall from like October to February. And then I'll resume touring probably February, March. So it's a fun gig.
Full schedule.
Full schedule. But I get to be at home with my cat. It's a local project, you know, and it's working with kids, and I learn so much from them, you know, whether it's the new music they're listening to or the new things, the way they talk, or new dances. Like, I get to learn how I can be of service as a musician by learning from, you know, today's youth. So it's a pretty cool project.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, man, thank you for your time. I
Yeah, of
really
course.
appreciate it. This has been
Thanks.
cool.
Yeah, no worries. Happy to come in.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Great interview.
Thanks.
Oh,
Really
thank you.
good interview.
Yeah, thank you.
It's
Yeah,
always,
very
I
nice.
say it's always hard the first one interviewing. I like those pants.
Good
Those
job.
pants are so dope.
Right? We did the Today Show this morning,
Oh, really?
so
Oh,
this was
awesome.
my fit for that, and I've got another interview this afternoon.
I heard, so we're going to get you out of here. We're going to
So-
snap these pics and get you out.
I decided I would just stay in my show clothes.
Very, very cool. What time do you have to be there?
The next thing?
No, to
The Pops?
no for the Today Show.
Oh,
Like how early?
We're doing
5:30.
Wow.
5:30.
That
Yeah.
sucks.
Worse for our crew. Their call time was
3?
3 a.m.
Really?
Yeah, because they have to set up all the gear.
Okay,
and-
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they were staying in Queens, so.
Right.
Yo, even better for them.
Yeah.
After you.